Welcome to the GI Nutrition Show. I'm Amy McCrea, registered dietitian and CEO of Grounded Root Nutrition. Today's topic is Meet Amy. The goal today is for you to get to know me, get a glimpse into what shaped who I am today and the health journey I've been on. I hope you can relate to my journey and see how I can also relate to you. So let's start with my childhood. We moved a lot. I was born in Pickerington, Ohio, and then at the age of 3, we moved to Crofton, Maryland. At the age of 5, we moved back to Pickerington, Ohio. We stayed there until just before middle school. So at the age of 11, we moved across the country to San Antonio, Texas. I loved my time in San Antonio. I would say I have some of the fondest memories of being there, and I hope someday that my kids have the opportunity to experience San Antonio like I did. But in the middle of my freshman year of high school, my dad got moved again, and this time we went north. We went to Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania, where we moved on Christmas break, and because of the snow, we were off for an entire month. My mom can tell you being home in a new city with 3 kids and not knowing a soul is not the best way or best time to be trapped in a snowstorm, but we survived. Then just before my senior year, my dad got transferred again back to Columbus, Ohio. And so I had the option. We could stay and my dad could commute, or I could move for my senior year of high school. I chose to move. I wanted to have friends. I wanted to be connected to when I came home on college breaks. And so we moved. And I'm so glad that we did, because I met my husband of 23 years in high school. We are high school sweethearts, and ironically, so are both of our parents. But at age 5, I was diagnosed with asthma. I have allergy, exercise, and illness-induced asthma. I did allergy shots for a very, very long time as a child, and it is much better now. And I began having constipation and belly pain around age 12. By the time I was 14 and I saw a pediatric surgeon in Pennsylvania, he did an ultrasound and discovered I needed to have my appendix removed, and I also had a cyst on my right ovary that they took care of at the same time. So the pain continued on and off over the years, and I was just told, drink water, take fiber, it'll be fine. Fast forward a few years, time for college. I've graduated from high school. I have a passion for animals, and so I decided it would be a fantastic idea to pursue a career in animals. I attended Otterbein College through their dual program with Columbus State to become both a large and small animal vet tech, graduating with both a Bachelor of Arts and my Associate's Applied Science. During college, I had a lot of GI issues. I was diagnosed with IBS, and additionally, I also had a lot of issues with anxiety and recognition of past traumas, so I was working with a counselor. A quarter before graduation, I recognized that working in the thick of a vet tech career was going to be very challenging for my body due to my animal allergies. Yes, I am allergic to animals, but yet I still pursued this career. So I went into hospital administration at a vet hospital called Banfield. I loved it. It was great. Fast forward about 10 months, and I was super, super sick. And I realized at that point in time that I couldn't keep doing this to my body. I needed to get out of the animal field, and animals needed to become my hobby. And so I pursued my passion for giant breed dogs. We have had a St. Bernard Great Pyrenees mix. His name was Rufus. A Newfoundland. Her name was Annie. 2 Irish Wolfhounds, Finian and Claire. And we now have a lurcher. His name is Ace. He is mostly greyhound with a little bit of coonhound in him. I also randomly have a box turtle that I got at the age of 7. So she has been with me a very long time. When we lived in Texas, she would fly on an airplane with me. She did not have to go through the turn belt at TSA at that time. It was a little bit different, but it was fun. She's a world traveler too. So after I left the vet field, it took me some time to kind of explore and figure out what I wanted to do, and I landed at Nationwide Insurance. I kind of worked my way up, becoming a process management consultant. I loved solving problems and making things more efficient, and that is one of my favorite parts about being a dietitian, is not only problem solving, but finding a way to make our bodies work smarter and not harder. That is the best. So while I was at Nationwide, we welcomed 2 daughters. Both of them ended up having some food sensitivities, and our oldest was diagnosed with celiac at the age of 4. I also pursued my MBA while I was there. Eventually, I got to a point where I started selling Leah Sophia jewelry on the side, and I realized that I was pretty darn good at sales, and so I quit my job at Nationwide to just sell jewelry and be able to be a stay-at-home mom with my kids for several years. During this time, I cooked a lot. I created my own recipes. Gluten-free food left much to be desired. It would be 15 years ago. And so by creating my own recipes, I could create like baked donuts and a cinnamon coffee cake and bread and pizza. It was so awesome. I also loved nutrition. And so I looked into going back to school at that time to become a dietitian to discover the schooling that I needed to complete. And my head was not in a space to be able to go back to school again. So what did I do? The easy option, of course, I opened a bakery. So in 2010, I founded Zoodle's Bake Shop. It was top 8, allergy friendly. It was the only brick and mortar in Columbus at the time that met those needs. So I started in a shared gluten-free facility and then eventually transitioned into my own facility. And a fun story, in 2012, I was working on my pizza crust recipe, and I was taking a trip to visit my girlfriend in New York. So what do? You take a full bag of flour with you, of course. So I took my flour and I took my recipe, and lo and behold, that is when Hurricane Sandy hit. I was trapped in New York for 5 extra days. So what did we do? We baked and we had fun, and we perfected my pizza crust recipe, which was definitely a product of Hurricane Sandy in New York City. Super fun, super fun. So pizza crust became our main selling product. I would sell it wholesale for most of my local restaurants. And I learned, of course, to make cakes and cookies. And we had our signature baked good, which was a cinnamon coffee cake. It was a fun time. The girls would sometimes accompany me to my bakery. At the beginning, they had a space that was all to themselves. And then they would just learn how to measure recipes and package. And it was a lot of fun. My special needs brother also worked for me while I was there. But in 2015, things changed. My oldest daughter started competitive gymnastics, and then I also became a co-guardian for my brother. And balance became important. We made the decision to sell the bakery. So in 2016, January to be specific, I passed the baton of my baby onto someone else. Sadly, COVID took it down, so it is no longer in business, but I will forever cherish the memories, and I have also forever retained my own copy of those recipes to be able to use with my friends and family. So after leaving the bakery, I kind of took time to do a little more career exploration, check off some bucket list items. One of the things I did was work at Closets by Design. While I was there, I was leaving a client's house one day and I slipped on black ice. I've never experienced black ice like I did that day. Landed on my elbow, pressure ricocheted up my arm, and I fractured my right humerus. I am right-handed as well, so you can only imagine. I did not have to have surgery, thankfully, but it was a long journey and long road for healing. Again, I still kept going back to this nutrition career. So I began completing all of my prerequisites to become a registered dietitian. And then I attended Eastern Michigan University, their distance learning program, where I could flex my life and my preceptorships around how things were going at home. So I could be the mom I needed to be. I could caregive for my brother, and it was wonderful. My husband supported me all of the way. The day before my first preceptorship, I fell walking the dogs and fractured my right wrist. I ended up having surgery, actually 2 of them, because my body didn't like the plate. And that was a whole adventure. While I was in school, I also was diagnosed with psoriatic arthritis. A rheumatologist sent me for a full workup. We then discovered I had a previous fracture in my back and then was eventually diagnosed with osteopenia. So these health challenges were surely stacking up. During school, one of my colleagues also began pursuing something called nutrigenomics. I had never heard of it before, but it intrigued me. It was the study how we can use our genes and nutrition, diet, and lifestyle to affect those genes. And I learned that my body cannot make enough choline. This was life-changing for me. When I added this, my joint pain reduced by 80%. During this time, my husband was also diagnosed with celiac disease at the age of 42. We'll talk more about celiac another day. Between my own GI issues and that of my family, GI health became my passion. So I started my business in 2022 as one fork at a time, still developing a vision of what I was going to become. I finally found that vision and I rebranded in 2024 to Grounded Root Nutrition. I have a GI focus, often with an autoimmune component. If you have any sort of GI issue, know that you've come to the right place. I then went on to complete additional training, become a certified gastrointestinal nutritionist, as well as an integrative and functional nutrition certified practitioner. I very heavily operate in the integrative and functional nutrition space. I myself discovered in 2023 that I had chronic Lyme, Babesia, Epstein-Barr virus, and other parasite infections in my GI. I began the functional nutrition treatment programs, and I feel so much better today. I also gave additional attention to my mental health and my past traumas, as I realized they were still having a profound effect on my body. I am a highly sensitive individual. I take in toxins easily, and stress can take me down. So I work really hard to manage my stress levels. I've incorporated a lot of calming practices into my life. I set boundaries, and I make sure I take care of myself. I've also learned that less is more for me. And I use that same approach in my practice when it comes to supplementation with my patients. I honor the need to balance my stress. I only work Tuesday through Friday. I spend the weekends with my family, doing chores around the house, and also tending to myself. That makes me a better person inside and out. I hope that you can connect and relate to all of my personal experiences. I value trust, open communication, and honesty. I think of myself as your partner in crime, supporting clients like you on your health journey and empowering you to be the best version of yourself. I hope you enjoyed today's show. Please visit my website, groundedrootnutrition.com, to learn more about how I can become a partner in your health journey, or contact me directly at hello@groundedrootnutrition.com. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you again soon.